All right, here we go. Welcome back to another lesson, English for Web 3. We're going to take a look at some ways that we can express opinions and uncertainty. Let's get it. So first, let's go over what we're going to learn here in this English for Blockchain lesson here today. First, of course, we're going to look at something called modal verbs. And you don't have to know what these are right now because I'm going to explain them to you in detail. But essentially, these are phrases that we can use to express certain things, right? Uncertainty and opinions, things like that. We're going to get into it. Don't worry. Of course, we'll have to look at the types of modals as well. And there are many types. We'll look at those and what situations we can use them in. And then, of course, we're going to be able to see example sentences for all of these types to help us understand the structure and the usefulness of these modals. Okay, are you ready to dive in? Are you ready to improve your English for Web3 and blockchain? All right, here we go. Let's get it. So, the first question you may have is, what are modal verbs? And the best way that I can explain this to you is that a modal verb is a special helping verb that adds meaning to a main verb in a sentence. It shows things like possibility, ability, permission, advice, or necessity. Now, if you're wondering what a verb is, essentially a verb, there are two basic types of main verbs in a sentence. One that shows action. I ate pizza for lunch. The word ate is going to be the action there. And there's be verbs, is, am, are. She is a nice person. Is going to be the main verb there. Okay, we're not going to go too deep into that. You'll be able to see the examples and you will understand them fully when I show them to you. But the first examples I want to show you are some common types of modal verbs themselves. Okay, remember these are special helping verbs that go with other verbs in the sentence. So we have can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, and will, would. These are some commonly used types of modal verbs, and I'm going to show you how we use these and what words we use these with right now. So we use modal verbs in business and technical conversations to express opinions and uncertainty in a polite, this is key, they help us make these to express our opinions and uncertainty in a polite, non-absolute way. A non-absolute is going to be like maybe not 100%, okay? This helps build trust and to keep conversations open and professional. Okay, let's look at a few quick examples here of what these might look like. So, for example, you should review the smart contract before deployment. So we use the modal should here plus a verb review to kind of give some advice, but not in a forceful way. Okay. This might be a bug in the code. Maybe you're talking about something that's messing up your code, something that's messing up your smart contract there. And well, you know what? This might be a bug in the code. There might be an issue. Let's check it out. And another quick example is we could launch. We have the modal plus the main verb here. We could launch on testnet first, maybe giving some kind of light suggestion in a polite way, right? So we can clearly see the basic structure is going to be a modal plus the main verb. Either it's a action verb or a be verb. Okay. Let's take a look at get a little bit deeper here so we can see the actual structures and more examples, and also the different types of modal verbs. So one common way that we use modal verbs, we use the modal verbs and the passive voice. Okay? The passive voice. So this structure lets you focus on the action or the possibility not who does it. So who's doing the action is not emphasized here. It's just focusing on the outcome only. So this is great for formal situations when the subject isn't clear. In blockchain and tech, you often don't know or it doesn't matter who is responsible for the action. So passive structures let you highlight the issue or solution without assigning blame. The basic structure here is going to be a modal verb plus a be verb plus the past participle. All you need to know about this here is the past participle is a past verb, right? Don't worry, I'm going to show you some examples here. For example, this could be solved with a layer 2 solution. So we have modal could, the be, and then solved is the past verb of solve. Solved is past for solve, so it's the past participle, right? Good. Let's look at a couple of more examples here with the same structure. The upgrade might be delayed due to testing. Gas costs should be reduced in the next hard fork. Now, I want to explain something here about this structure. I know that you're looking at this and you're saying, well, this is the past verb, so it's talking about something that happened in the past. No, this can get a little bit confusing. When we're using modals, modal verb plus be verb plus the past participle is just the structure. So this could be solved. This means it's possible, right? The upgrade might be delayed. Another possibility. The cost should be reduced. We're just expressing maybe some kind of advice, okay? So just for the structure only, I know it can be a bit confusing when you say, oh, this should be past, but this is not happening in the past. It's just part of the grammar structure. So if you have the question, teacher, could we just say, oh, this could be this could be solved with layer 2 solution? No, we have to use the past participle. Could be solved, might be delayed, should be reduced, even though it's not talking about a past action. Okay, we can use these uh, for helping phrases, right? So we can use things called hedging to often soften opinions or show uncertainty. We don't want to be too strong, especially if you're from a culture that has a strong hierarchical structure and you have to be very respectful for your seniors and the people ranked above you. You want to give soft opinions and express uncertainty in a soft, respectful way. You can use hedging phrases with modals to do that. Okay? So what this does is this helps you stay diplomatic when you give feedback, making suggestions, or discussing uncertain outcomes. It shows that you're thoughtful and respectful of complexity. Let's take a look at some common examples here. So we've got, it could be that users aren't aware of security risk. This is a common phrase. It could be that plus some situation. If you say, oh, can I say it should be that? No, this is a common phrase used together, okay? It could be that plus some situation. Something could be happening. There may be a case for migrating to another chain. So this again is maybe a soft way of maybe making a suggestion. Oh, there may be a case for, this might be a possibility for, there may be a case for introducing a possibility to do something. And it might seem like the protocol is decentralized, but it isn't. Explaining some complexity or something that looks like one thing, but it is not, we can soften it and make it more polite by saying, oh, it might seem like. Yeah. Good. A little bit less direct, a little bit more formal to use these expressions. Here we go. Let's look at another use case. So another use case is when we're, of course, we're just flat out speculation or possibility. We really don't know, right? So we're going to speculate or talk about possibility of an outcome. So these modals help you talk about what's possible, likely or unlikely. This is very useful when discussing trends, risk, or projections. Web3 is full of unknowns because it's progressing so quickly, right? But these phrases help you speak responsibly and confidently about what might happen without sounding too certain and without making promises. Okay, let's take a look at a few examples. The token price might increase if the upgrade succeeds. Now, we're not saying that this is a guarantee. This is not 100%. We're just saying it's a possibility. It might happen. Who knows? But we're not making any promises there. That could be an attack vector. Attack vector. Yeah, that's a possibility. It could be. Yeah, it must be a network issue. We've checked everything else. In this case, since we're saying it must be, and that we've already checked other things, this is expressing a little bit stronger level of certainty, right? This means I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's a network issue, but you're still doing it in a polite way. And it can't be the smart contracts. The test, the test all passed. So all the tests of the smart contracts passed. So it's not possible for it to be the smart contracts. Yeah. Okay. Good. If you have any questions or if you want to try to make your own sentences with these, please feel free to do so in the comments below. I always say one of the best ways to learn is to do it. Let's get it. So this structure here for this type of modal or conditional modality is a little bit more complex, but I'm going to go over it with you because it is extremely useful. So this combines modals with conditionals to explain what would happen in a certain case, a specific case, right? It's important to talk about what if situations in project planning and technical decisions. This helps you clearly explain consequences, risk, or next steps. Let's have a look. So the basic structure here is if plus some condition. So if this happens, then some subject plus modal verb will happen, okay? Now, if I give you a casual example, right? If I eat too much pizza, then I might feel sick, okay? Let's take a look at some technical examples, though. So I have them color coded for you as usual, so you can clearly see the different parts there. But if the DAO approves the proposal, we could move forward. So if this condition happens, then it's possible that this will happen next. But only if this condition happens first. If Solana had better EVM compatibility, more developers might use it. Again, I don't want anyone who are strong proponents of the Solana network or the EVM network to attack me here. This is just some example sentences here, okay? If gas fees rise, users may switch to another chain. So this is a possibility. If this condition happens here, if this thing happens, it is possible that users could go use a cheaper chain. All right, good. Fantastic. We're moving quite well. Again, try to make some of these sentences on your own that are related to your work or some projects that you're building. Okay, here we go. Let's look at one more thing here. So we're going to look at something called collocations and common phrases. Collocations, I don't want you to think too much about this. Collocations essentially are how vocabulary words are commonly used together in English. Let me give you a quick example before I move on. So if you think about the word money, what are some common words that are used with money? Okay, save money, spend money, earn money, make money. So those are collocations with money. And there are many different types of collocations. It's just the way that the language is commonly used in certain situations. Okay, here we go. So these are useful. There are some useful modal expressions, often used in meetings, presentations, or business discussions. These collocations are natural and professional. Using them makes your English sound fluent and polished in a workplace communication. Here we go. Let's look at a few common examples here, right? So we should take that into consideration. So to take something, should take something into consideration is a very common common phrase, right? To take something in collocation, to take something into consideration. The collocation will be here plus this phrase. It is in the middle, which makes it a little bit more complex, but it's very, very common. That means that we should think about this. We should think seriously about this thing, this possibility. You might want to double check the smart contract. So in this case, we're just giving some clear advice here. Hey, before you do that, you might want to double check. Might want to double check is a common phrase. Might want to double check plus something. The collocation would be the thing, the noun, the smart contract. Let me give you a more of a casual example here. Before you leave your house on vacation, you might want to double check that you turn the gas and the lights off. You also might want to double check that you lock your door. Double check that those doors are locked. Here we go. All right, it might be worth exploring another option. This is a very nice business expression here. You know what? So we're going to, in a soft and a polite way, make a strong suggestion. This is a strong suggestion, but it is presented in a very polite, professional, and formal way. It might be worth exploring another option. It might be worth waiting until we have more information. And the last example I want to go over here is that this could turn out to be a big opportunity. Something could turn out to be a big opportunity. We normally use this phrase here if we think something could become more than we currently think that it is. So maybe we think this is not so good or nothing special, but in the future it could become something special. It could turn out to be a nice opportunity for us, right? So I know a lot of times when people are studying, they look at the phrase or the vocabulary and they say, "Oh, I already know that." But a lot of students I've encountered, they kind of know what it means, but they don't know how to use it. So taking your time, reviewing, and practicing writing your own sentences could turn out to be a huge advantage for you in developing your skills. All right, here we go. The best way to learn is by doing. Let's get into this learning challenge. Let's improve our English and technical skills at the same time. So first, I want you to think of one or two modal expressions that you have learned from this lesson today. Think about it for a moment. After that, I want you to prepare to describe a situation using them in full sentences. Don't think too much about this. Think about your job, your work, some project that you're doing where you could use these expressions. Make it relevant to you. And then finally, I want you to practice these, right? Let us know, write your sentences in the comments below. Let's get some peer-to-peer reviews. Let's talk about these things together. Let's learn and build our skills together there, okay? All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate your hard work. We're going to see you in the next one. But if you want to keep learning, if you want to go into a deeper dive, take the full lesson, take the quiz on Fluent Dev. The link is in the descriptions below. We'll see you next time.